G'day and welcome back to the Coffey Break channel. Well, we're attempting on taking this trail craft right here, east coast to west coast, Tweed Heads to Broome. On today's episode, we're going to be going to the final destination, which feels weird to say after 6 months on the water. We're going along the last stretch of the coastline, 300 kilometers down to Broome. And what a hell of a journey it's been. I mean, far out. I can't believe we made it this far. I can't believe so many things. Feeling like a little bit emotional today to go through this one. We're gonna do this stretch over a couple of days. I don't think we have the best weather, but that's where we are today. But over the course of this episode, we're gonna get to Broome. And we'll go through a few things on the trip. This won't be the last episode that I do. I'm going to do one more after this, looking back on the whole trip and do a bit of a movie edit. This will be just the last one, getting to Broome and reaching the final destination. But next week's one will be a wicked edit, going through all the drone shots and fish and everything that we caught, and a bit of a wrap up on the trip when I have a bit more time to sit down and edit like a cool movie. Yeah. It's weird to look at that map right now and think we come from here in hope that we'd get all the way down to here and then to Broome. I don't know. The trailcraft is possibly gonna make it. I don't want to jinx it by saying it is, so it's possibly gonna make it. 300 kilometers. How do you feel this morning? Heading towards the Broome finish line.
Well, I mean, it's going to be good to be back on land, but it's going to be sad to be off the boat. A bit of boat.
Yeah.
A lot of boat. I mean, it's pretty. It feels weird to be arriving in Broome.
I know.
It is unreal trip. Incredible. Incredible. Can't believe we made it.
Well, we haven't made it yet.
We haven't made it. Yeah, watch this space.
We've left the Kimberley Explorer and yeah, we're heading to Beagle Bay this morning. About 100 kilometers from here. And then from there, it's about 200 kilometers to Broome. We've got nice weather this morning, hopefully to get across this top of the King Town over to it's like a seen on the map there, big divot where the line runs out, but it should be sweet this morning. And then we're going to just hopefully river hop our way to Broome, depending on the weather. So we're now actually fully driving south on the west coast. That's Cape the Beach in there. And around the corner from there, Beagle Bay, where you can launch your boat from to head over to the Kimberley. And as soon as we've come around the corner and started heading south, it is an absolute mess of an ocean. Oh, that was a brutal morning to get here. We're in Beagle Bay and we've got Owen, Miles and another mate with them we're about to meet. Just parked up in this lovely little sand spot over there. Ooh, that was a mission.
There you go.
Yo.
Work on Leo.
How are you?
Hey, Jacko, how are you? Right, Leo.
Hey Leo, I'm Steph.
Hey, Leo,
Nice
down
to
there.
meet you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so much for a sore foot, eh, Bob?
Bad as it There we go.
Thanks heaps to Leo for letting us come and hang out here.
It looks fucking sick.
Thanks for letting us come hang out here and unwind before we get into the chaos of getting this boat on land and then sorting out my car and boat and everything we got to organise. Last night on the boat.
I tell you what though, I didn't know we were coming and staying here, and that was really relaxing.
Yeah, that was good unwind. We basically just ate food and
We needed it.
drank beers. The wounded soldier, look, we're all limping our way to the finish line.
At the start it was like 2.5 months of like off, like out in the water and not needing land. By the time we get to here, it's like you go on to land for 2 days and you go out in the ocean for 3 or 4 days. It's like, get me back to, I need a rest again.
Yeah. Yeah, on the shore. Sav winch, get yourself one. Alright, we're just heading over to the other side of the bay. There's a beautiful sand spit. We're going to run through a few questions and the cost of the trip while we're over here hanging out for the next couple of hours. Alrighty guys, it's come to the conclusion for the trip. We're going to run through what a wild journey it's been, and a life-changing trip for both of us, and one of the best trips we've ever been on, and just an insane journey of meeting people, seeing the country and doing some of the most crazy adventures we've ever been on. We're in the bay here, just staying at Leo's joint over there, but we've come across here and we're just going to run through a few things. And a question, I've put an Instagram thing up to be asked questions for it, and we're going to run through a few that you guys have asked. The first question for the trip is what prompted the trip and made you do this idea for it? And that was Dad's idea here, so how did you come up with this one, Dad?
Oh, just I suppose it would have been a progress, you know, like we took off, you know, 20 odd years ago with all the kids. We all love travelling and doing stuff, and first it was in a troopy in a caravan, then we you know, we had a bus, and then significantly 5 years ago we started spending a lot of time in WA and that coast and everything. And then, you know, things after COVID got pretty crowded, and we were wanting to spend more time in the water and out on the islands, and I was just sitting around and I just thought, well, it would be a good idea to drive the boat up to Cape York. I didn't think it'd be that hard. I thought it'd be pretty straightforward. And then I told Jacko, I said, why don't we just take the boat up to Cape York? And he said, why don't we take it to Broome? And then that was it. And then 3 months later we left.
Yeah.
And we were kind of undecided what we were going to do. We'd never talked about this before. It had never been something we had even thought of.
No.
But it just sort of come up, instead of driving the cars and all of the gear and lugging it along and then going out to islands and spending money on accommodation and petrol along the length. You're still spending a lot of money on fuel with the boat. Let's just take the boat and live it, because I was already living in the boat, so it just felt pretty normal.
Yeah. The organising prior to the trip, like Dad just said then, it was about December. He said to me to come up with the idea for this trip. Within 3 months' time, we just got the boat in the best position to be able to pull off something like this, and left. So planning the trip out none of this was planned. None of this meeting up with people along the way. Nothing in this entire trip was planned. We had sort of scheduled dates weather-wise that we were trying to reach. Other than that, this has just been guided off, you know, trying to get, that's how we've done the trip. It hasn't been like thinking, oh, we're trying to get to Broome. When we're in Coolangatta, we were thinking, all right, how are we trying to get to 1770, say? And we planned that out a little bit. Once we got to 1770, it was like, right, how do we get to Townsville? And then you'd get to Townsville. Then from Townsville up to the top, and so on and so on. It wasn't like we had, all right, we want to go here and we want to go there and we're meeting up with this person. A lot of the time, the people we're meeting up with were messaging me on Instagram as they seen us coming up the coast. And we just end up linking up with some of the best characters that you could possibly come across on the trip. And that, the people that we've met along the way has been the best part of the trip, and has made this trip what it is, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. When we left, like, so much so that we didn't know where we were going, that, yeah, we knew major places. You know, you knew Airlie Beach, we knew Cairns, we knew a lot of places. We knew Cape York was up the tip. You know of Darwin, you know of Broome, and then you know of places, but no, we did not know for so many places. We were just like, okay, we're going here, oh, what's that like?
Yeah.
And we'd get there. And then what Jackson just said then was so true, that I thought we were just going to go on a trip and it was just going to kind of be me and Jackson, and I really didn't think people would reach out and help.
Yeah.
And not only did they do that, which made it unbelievably easier. I can't imagine pulling up to a marina and then not having fuel and having to organise, or food or anything, and just be like, oh, what do we do now? Pulling up to marinas or pulling up to, you know, remote beaches and places, and people are there just making life ridiculously easy.
Yeah, it was
it's
just
phenomenal. So they were amazing people.
Yeah.
And then not only that, then there was, when you were at these places, then you had amazing people who were coming down and saying, hey, we really like what you're doing. And when you're doing this trip, things can get tough and a bit tiring and whatnot. And it gave you a real feel-good feeling that, yeah, wow, you know, like it is worth doing. It's really good.
Yeah.
That is the best part of the trip.
Yeah, yeah. And this is something that's going to be a part of the. I wanted this trip to be like this. I was hoping we were going to meet up with people along the way and into the unforeseeable future, as long as my channel goes and keeps doing what it's doing. There's going to be characters involved in my channel. I love that part of my channel, is involving people in it. I think it's such an awesome thing to do. And I think when you're watching, it's like a new character involved all the time. So if you keep watching the Coffey Break channel, there's going to be a lot more of this coming up. And we've been asked, this is a big question we've asked, what are we going to be doing once the Broome trip's finished? Now, our entire life, we've always done things to try and push ourselves, because we like the excitement of not only it being a cool trip, but we like the challenge of figuring it out. And then when you get there, you're like, oh, we've done that, you know. And those are the challenges we like to take on, and we've taken on our whole life. And I think that's just going to be what's going to keep coming into the channel. We're going to keep doing radical trips. We're going to keep having amazing people being involved in them. We have had talks of next year going from Broome all the way around, but we're not sure yet. We'll see how it goes. We've got a few trips in between that will happen in between that we missed out on this trip. Like, we didn't get to go out to the ribbons off Lizard Island again. We didn't get to go out to the Swains, and there's a few things across the top that we got planned. My car and Tinny, if you've been following the channel for a long time, you would have seen my blue Nissan Patrol, little 4.2 Tinny that we've taken out further than I think anyone's ever taken a boat. That will be something that I'll be doing across the top. That's not fully planned, but you know, that's what's going to be happening in this channel. This is literally just the beginning of the Coffey Break, and if you guys keep watching and keep supporting, I can keep doing these things. If you've been watching too, you'd notice there hasn't been a lot of advertising in the channel, and that's because I really want to keep this channel authentic to what we're doing, and I don't want to be pushing products on you guys unless I'm using it. So it is really important for me to be able to continue doing the channel without having to advertise things that you guys just watch.
It's like the vapes. I don't actually really smoke them. I'm just promoting them.
Yeah, he's promoting I get throughout the trip. He doesn't smoke. He's just, yeah. That's what's funded.
Those things are empty. It's the same one since the start.
They funded the trip, them things. No, but yeah, just you guys watching the channel is how I can afford to just keep doing this. So I thank heaps to everyone for the support that it's been throughout the whole way, and hopefully we can just continue doing this, continue showing off special parts of the country and all the awesome people in it. Righto, what other questions have we got here? What would we had it changed on the boat, and what we do differently?
So, you know, that really there's nothing major, but if there was a few things that would have been better, yeah, a water tank would have been good.
Yeah.
Clears that really sealed the boat would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Charging the battery off that, off the motor, would have been unreal.
Yeah. I reckon one thing that I didn't realise we were going to be doing so much of on this trip was being in rivers and fishing for barramundi, really. And I would have put on an electric motor if I had known the trip would have been like this so much, because it is so difficult fishing rivers in this big boat. It's like fishing a river when there's any sort of wind. This boat's a big sail, you just get blown around. So I would have got an electric motor knowing if we were going to be fishing rivers so much.
Trim tabs, and most importantly, better seats.
But yeah, I would have exchanged the legs, now looking back on it, for trim tabs.
But he said he can put the legs, you can still rig the legs up with the trim tabs. So yeah, trim tabs and a seat.
I've shown this many times. Where do we go to the toilet?
That bucket's been insane.
This is how we go to the toilet. I'll give you a demonstration. not a real one. I'll give you a demonstration. So if we're in croc waters and we can't just go off the back of the boat, off the side of the boat, you get this bucket out. You fill it with water. You put the lid on. You do your business. Close it up. That's it. Now, for privacy, more so for the girls, because me and Dad don't really care too much. If they need to go to the toilet, we'll go to the front of the boat, or you know, we'll give them their privacy. All right, this is a small boat. This is rough as it gets. That's the toilet situation. There's no other way of doing it.
And it works unreal.
And it works great.
The bucket's mental.
The girls might have a different opinion on it, but work good.
Well, yeah, they would.
When did it sink in that we're doing a trip of a lifetime?
Somewhere along the east coast.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the east coast. You know, once you start doing...
I reckon out of 1770 we were on the bunker group with Mick, and it was just like amazing weather. We surfed out there, then we caught all them reds, and that video to start the series was such a good way of starting it, because it was just like, it was like we were in bloody heaven. So I think that was like, how good is this? Is going to be an awesome time. And then once we left there, we got belted for a month. But
yeah, oh God, the weather's good. Oh, it's so good. How lucky we've been with the weather. Yeah, we had 11 days of good weather, and then it set in. But having said that, at least we know now what the boat can handle, what we can handle, what's possible, and that is really invaluable for future trips.
Yeah. If we think about on the trip, if I think of one moment that would be the most memorable along the trip, which is funny to say, it would be when we were driving around the Barnard Islands and we had those rough conditions. Now those rough conditions don't show anywhere near of how bad it was on the GoPro to what it was like in reality. That was really terrifying. Me and Dad have spent our whole life in the ocean surfing and chasing big swells, but the vulnerability we both felt in that position was horrible, and it is a very memorable moment on the trip. And a part of the trip, once we got in there, we started second guessing if we were even going to make it to the top of the country. And that was a lot of the talks we had at times was, can we even get there? Do we need to drive, get it on the trailer and get it over the other side, which we didn't want to do and obviously didn't have to do. But that was a very, if you think of one moment in the trip that's going to stick with you forever.
Yeah, I agree.
Have we had a blue on the boat yet? And we have. I mean, it's impossible not to. We're on the boat. It's bloody 6.5 meters long. We've been on here for 6 months together, and it's been so much figuring out and so much organising, and a lot of the time high stress and tension. It's impossible not to have a blue. We don't fight a lot in general, but when we have it on the boat, but there's, you know, it's just human nature to have arguments. But the best thing that we do is, even when you argue about something, you sort of just get over it and move on, and that's just how we have rolled. And there's only probably been a handful proper arguments on the trip. In between that, it's just been all good.
The tensions can build up, you know, like Jackson's working so hard filming and editing and doing what he's doing. It's hard for me to really appreciate how much he's focused on that. And then, you know, I've still got 4 kids at home and my wife, and I'm worried about them and I'm concerned about what they're doing, and then I'm driving and doing my stuff. So our appreciations for each other's concerns is not always, you're not really thinking about it, and neither of us are expressing it either. So each person can get frustrated and shitty and be focusing on something that the other person's not even giving a damn about. I mean, Jackson's up there, every now and then I stop and think, holy moly, and I'm tired, and he's up filming and driving and flying the drone and doing all this shit, and I'm thinking, God, thank God I don't have to do that. You know, but I don't appreciate it for the most part.
Yeah. And vice versa with a lot of things that he does, I'm not even thinking about. It goes very much both ways with that. And like he said, a lot of time you're not even thinking about it. What their issues are and that. So that tensions can build, but we've worked.
And then there's worry on, then you've got to work together.
Yeah.
To make it happen. And us working together, like, we come up with an idea, and we have learnt over the years through working together, him working with me, bricking, building, everything we do, we build stuff and that. And we have really learnt that it's a good idea, put an idea across, then the next bit, and if you work hard enough at it, you'll start off with plan A, and you might end up with a completely different version, but similar, and that works really well. That's critical to being able to work together. Yeah. You know? And don't fall in love with plan A.
Yeah. The filming side of things, I've been asked, has it been strenuous or has it taken away from the trip? At the start of the trip, probably the first 4 months, it wasn't. It was really easy, and I was learning a lot at the start, but I have been filming myself with this GoPro for 6 months now, every day. And I love filming. I love the whole side of getting the videos and everything like that. But it's gotten to the point now where I'm keen to just like have a break from talking to a camera or thinking about shots and stuff like that. I think I've found a pretty good mix of using the head mount, using this Jaws grip, trying not to have it as if I'm running around with the GoPro all day long. That's how I've tried to use it, so that I'm not fully tunnel vision to the GoPro, but it's very hard not to be when you're thinking about shots and you're thinking about a storyline. Like if you watch my channel from literally start to the finish of this series, it flows as we go from place to place. There's no jumping or anything. It's like I've been filming 24/7. So that side of it has been it's definitely taken a toll on just enjoying towards some things, but all in all, I've got all this video to look back on, and it hasn't been, you know, the negatives don't outweigh the positives at all. But if you're doing this and you're filming all the time, you'll notice like it is really hard. And yeah, it's just a huge job. It's just a huge job. Like we're filming all day, and then we're mapping here, and you know, we're figuring out anchorages. We're talking to people, and aside from the filming, like it's a massive task just doing this trip, and then the filming on top, and I'm doing weekly episodes. It's just a huge job. And
for me personally, to have this trip to have been filmed so well, edited so well, in my opinion. Jackson gets me to look at them and see if there's anything wrong with them, and there's never anything wrong with them. As a memory, as I get older, because we've done a lot of stuff and it hasn't been filmed as everyone has, but to have this now is unreal, regardless of whatever else you get from it.
Yeah,
it's unreal to have. If I've ever had anything on film, this is one of the things that's really special. And that would be my advice for any of you looking to start doing YouTube and filming things. Don't think about the views, don't think about the money you're generating from it, don't think about anything else other than you're going to have all your life documented on video for you to look back on one day with your grandkids, your kids, and so on and so on. That is the most special thing about filming. It's not the views or anything like that. It's one day, probably in 30 or 40 years time, me and Dad will be old, no one else will be watching our videos, but we'll be looking back on them and going, how good was that? Bit of an unusual question, but I'll answer it. Did I purposely go around filming the indigenous culture and stuff like that? No, I didn't. I was hoping that I was just going to run into Aussies along the whole way, and that's what this film has been. I'm not trying to go out of my way to film anything in particular. I'm literally filming what's happening on the trip. Obviously, I filmed a lot of Aboriginal artwork, and that's because I love the Aboriginal artwork. I think it's incredible. Like, it's an ancient thing on the rocks that you can go and see all across the country. Like, it's amazing, and the history behind it's incredible. But actually going out of my road to film anything in particular, I haven't gone out of my road to... I've just been meeting up with Australians across all walks of life, across the whole series, and that's how I've filmed it. It hasn't been like, oh, I want to get here and film that, I want to go here and film that. It's just happened as it's happened. Well, the people we've met on this trip, except for Casey, who we didn't even know was in 1770 at the time. We hadn't spoken to him for years. And except for meeting Mick out on the bunker group, there's two people. There's not one person we knew at all. No, these are all new. On the entire trip. It's true, yeah. Not one person. The whole way. Yeah. And we left, I thought we'd be meeting boats. Yeah. I didn't think it was going to be people that were living in communities and on the land. I certainly didn't expect to have the traditional owners be so open and welcoming towards us. That didn't even envisage that in my wildest dreams. I thought we'd be out on the reef just fishing mad. Yeah. Instead, we weren't. Yeah. Well, we were talking about before how the 6-month trip. Compared to previous years, we would be fishing. We'd go out for a 2-week trip and fish our absolute heads off. We couldn't do it on this trip because if you had one big day's fishing, your energy levels would just completely die for a couple of days. So we really had to time our fishing sessions. That's why we spent a lot of time in the rivers, because it was flat and calm. Barely thrown a stick bait. Yeah, last year we went like top water mad. We barely even thrown stick baits this year because it's too tiring. Like, we can't. Our bodies fishing for GTs. Even just being out on the ocean and when it's bright and there's just sun reflecting off everything all day long, like, that takes it out of you. So the fishing side of this trip has probably been, honestly, like one of the worst fishing years we've ever had. And how much fish are you going to keep? Yeah. Like, we caught some amazing, like the two best fish we caught on the trip. One, I was with Matt Pelagic on his boat, and the other one, you were with Mick on their boat. Like, the red and the barra were the two best fish on this trip, and it wasn't even on this vessel. Trophy fish. So Dale, they're big. If you have to be forced to be settled in one area. If I had to pick somewhere to stay forever, without a doubt, I'd pick Australia. Oh, yeah. Do we drink beers every day on the boat? No, not at all. With a trip like this, drinking beers really takes it out of you. You have to be on your game. The only time we were, more so at the start of the trip, drinking beers was either if we were with another boat
and we were having a few beers together, or we got to a harbour. You would have seen a few times when we got to the harbour, me and Dad sitting there. Most of them nights when we first got to a dock or somewhere where we were safe, me and Dad would get blind together. In the Kimberley, it's been a little bit different because we've been meeting up with so many people, and it sort of feels like we're celebrating towards the back end of the trip, and it hasn't been chaotic ocean. We've had a lot of chaotic current, but majority of the time it's been quite flat ocean, so we haven't had to be so sharp, I guess you could say.
Yeah, someone said to me at Weepy, you know, I said, oh, what's it like heading down towards Corumba, which was about 600 kilometres, and I said, what was it like? And they said, oh, it's no worries, we head down that way all the time. We just jump in the boat, get a bunch of beers, and we get blind, and we go for a drive down, and it's like, well, that's really typical of when you're in a certain area all the time and you know the area, so you're just basically on autopilot yourself, you know, like you're loading the boat, you know what rod you're taking, you know everything you're doing because you've done it 100 times, 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Out you go, in you come. And then I said to him after that, I said, oh, yeah, no, we haven't been drinking beers on the trip at all because, well, very rarely because, you know, we don't know where we're going. And I said to him, you know, like, what's it like from, say, Corumba over to Mornington Island to King Ash Bay and then over to Nullarbor, which was 700 kilometres across the Gulf. He goes, oh, I haven't done that. And I said, well, that's we haven't done this next stretch.
Yeah.
You might have done it 100 times, but I've never done it.
Yeah.
I've got no idea.
Yeah.
So to be sitting up till, you know, and that trip was a classic example. We had 2 hours each day where we needed to be really on the ball from say 5:30 through till 8 o'clock.
That was the only times we could get from river to river, that whole stretch down.
So you don't want to be waking up with a hang. I mean, some people might be on there going, no, bugger it, we do. But no. And then also too, on top of that, what if you have the beers every day all the time? Rubbish is a major concern when you're doing this.
Yep.
You can't just be loading beers in, you know, pull up and be emptying all your rubbish out, and it's mainly beer cans.
Yeah.
Be a nightmare.
Yeah, and the rubbish that we've had on the trip, we have been stopping off and taking it to every destination we go to and getting rid of rubbish there. Through the Kimberley, the same thing. All the places we've stopped to get fuel, we've got rid of rubbish. So that's how we've been getting rid of.
Been really cautious with rubbish. Rubbish is hard.
Yeah, and we try and buy things that aren't bulky or going to take up a lot of space.
Yep.
Best place we visited, honestly can't answer it. Australia has so much diversity and everywhere is amazing in its own right. I cannot pick a place that I would say is better than the other. They're all amazing in their own ways. I know it's a cliche answer, but it's the truth. There is no place I can say that's been the best. It's all been amazing. So
I can't answer it.
Yeah, I can't answer that question. I mean, you know, the Kimberley's incredible, the Great Barrier Reef's incredible, the Gulf was incredible. The
Albany Island was incredible.
Island was incredible. Like
Groot Island, going around Groot Island and fishing some of the. I mean, how do you say when you're fishing like with Ricky Mack that day, and we're up a river and it's night time and we're catching, you know, barra every cast. I mean, you just can't answer it.
You can't answer that question. So that's the honest answer. I think Australia, weather-wise. Like I've said this earlier in the series, weather is your biggest thing. If you're ever going to plan a trip, you need to plan it off the weather. And I think all parts of the country are incredible at just the right time of year. So it all depends on the weather, really. If you're going somewhere and the weather's bad, it's not going to be nice. If you've got good weather, the whole country's bloody amazing. And there's nowhere that stands out to me more than any. Other than, I think the Kimberley for boating and what we're doing is so incredible because you have waterfalls to go shower in. That was another question I got asked. What was the longest we went without a shower? An actual hot shower, or just one that runs out of a tap? Probably a month. But we're going swimming often. The probably longest I went without being able to go in the water because there was crocs. Maybe like a week, 10 days was probably the longest I went without.
You get a bucket of water.
You get a bucket.
See, I used we had 2 buckets on the boat. I used to use the one from Bunnings, but Jackson like to get 2 things for the value of one, so he'd use the toilet one for halfway for most of the trip. So, you know, emptying it all the time.
Yeah. So that the Kimberley is a special place in its own right.
Yeah, if you've not done a trip and you want to go and look at something beautiful, you're not going to go past the Kimberleys.
Yeah.
If you go to each individual place, there's thousands of individual places you could go for a month. Explore it, come out and go, that was incredible, had a great time, providing the weather's good.
Yeah, You don't even have to go to the Kimberley and cast one rod. You can go there and just get amazed around every corner, and that's probably what makes it really special. You almost don't come to the Kimberley for the fishing. You come here for everything around it.
Check it out.
You come here to have a look at insane landscapes and waterfalls and everything else. Do I regret bringing the surfboards? No, and the reason why is those boards are our safety devices. Obviously your safety equipment on the boat's amazing. You got life jackets. I'm not saying I'm not going to wear a life jacket if we go overboard, but at least if I have the surfboard, I can paddle a very long way, and so can Dad. So having the surfboards is our safety device.
Like, it's all good and well to have something go wrong 10k out to sea, and it's gone wrong because there's a horrendous current and wind blowing. Yeah, put a life jacket on.
And bob around.
My concern is not, am I going to stay afloat?
Yeah.
My concern is what's going to eat me.
Yeah.
And at least with the surfboard, if I get out of that current, I can then paddle to shore, not swim.
Yeah.
You know, I feel comfortable on a surfboard.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to swim in one of them life jackets? They're an absolute nightmare. 3 things that we would have left behind, looking back, would have left probably the surfboards. Would have left
95% of our very limited clothes.
Yeah, would have bought just a pair of shorts.
2 pairs of board shorts, a couple of t-shirts.
Yeah, and what else? Something else. So we bought some axes and things like that never got used. Probably just a few tools that never got used. But hey, you know, sometimes you need those things in time, so it's hard to say.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. We packed pretty tight.
Yeah, clothes.
Clothes.
Wouldn't have needed anywhere near the amount of clothes.
Yeah.
Surfboards, yeah, you could have left them.
Yeah.
But, no, to be honest, I wouldn't say surfboards, because for that one reason, if we were to sink, and then also too, if we were to go under, and I've got bubbies too.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to have her on the board paddling. I don't want her swimming.
That was the other side of this question. 3 things you wouldn't have gone without. Number 1, bubbies. Bubbies on this trip for me and Dad has been like a talking point, a nurturing point,
an antidepressant.
She has been the true hero of this trip and has made it so much better. Gives us something to do all the time, like bringing Bubs on the trip.
Companion.
She's been amazing. Like, couldn't have asked for a better dog.
Yes, you.
Other than your barking. Other than your barking.
Yes, you.
But you are a guard dog as well, so that works well.
Yes, you.
She's the most adventured designer dog in the country. The Starlink is the only way I've been able to do this whole series as we've gone around. Starlink is incredible. That is one hell of a product that Elon has made there. I know people have different opinions about him, but having internet in remote locations is just insane.
Starlink might be more important than me.
The Starlink is so important, and not only just for uploading videos. When we're in the middle of nowhere, we can check the weather, we can check the tides, catch up with the family, all of it. The Starlink is so crucial, and it has made this trip possible for you guys to watch. Without the Starlink, I wouldn't have been able to do weekly episodes. Safety. Being able to just go on your phone and have a scroll's nice. So, yeah.
Starlink. Can't do without Starlink.
Can't do without Starlink. The bugs on the trip, they haven't been too bad, honestly. No. Like, we've had a lot of, you know, some nights when you're way up the back of the river and there's no wind, it's pretty horrendous, but...
Get out of there and just go somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not been a drama.
It hasn't been an issue. It hasn't been a big issue as what I thought it was going to be.
No way.
So, no, that's been good. Crocs and bugs have been probably the one thing that I thought were going to be quite an issue on this trip. I was actually thinking of getting a gun before and trying to get a gun license. Glad I didn't do that because I didn't need one.
Might have shot each other.
Yeah. They asked if it's mandatory to have your ass crack hanging out throughout the video.
No, it's not mandatory. It's just habit. I don't know. Just one of those things.
He's a bricklayer. That explains it. That's all you need to know. He's a brickie. That's how they roll.
I don't know.
So if you don't already know, with the beard, I'm growing it for my mate at home, Steve Maloney. He's fighting motor neurons disease, which is a horrible disease, and really does... I don't know, it's just a horrible disease, and I couldn't imagine what he's been going through. And we've been both growing our beard throughout this series. I'm shaving it off when I get home from the Goldie, so I'll actually have to hang on to it a little bit when we get to Broome before we get home. You can donate in the link below. I'd love if you could, to help him out and help his family out through these really tough times. an amazing thing that he has been throughout the trip for me is how positive he is through this whole experience. And it's really like opened my eyes up with, I get negative with things all the time as well, and I have hard days and little things in life that get you down that really aren't really anything in particular. It's just you being a bit of a sook. And you see the way he's fighting such a hard thing right now, and he's positive the whole way through it. So he's been incredible for me to bounce off throughout the trip. And that's why the beard's been growing. Not long left before it's gone. I'm real keen to get rid of it, but yeah, that's it there. So we just got the girls out of their little den in the cabin. I had a few questions for the girls as well. The
one.
Oh my god.
We get that a lot.
So there's a bucket that you can use, and I've witnessed Jackson use it before, which was traumatizing. But I just go off the side, and it takes a while. Like at the start, you're like, I can't do this, and then you just have to do it, and then you get used to it.
Yeah, and then you just find different times of the day, like usually early morning, late at night when everyone's just chilling. You go up to the roof, like everyone can go up to the roof and get away, and you have privacy down here. Yeah. It just works. It just weirdly works.
And we like if she knows that I need to go, I'll be like we help each other out. She'll like if we're tied up with like another whole boat, she'll like block that area out because she knows it. And I'm
that's
like,
probably the one that's tricky, eh?
Yeah, and I'm like entertain, like get the conversation over there. So that's one good thing. We
have you found it rough, or have you found it quite? Or how have you girls found the whole not really showering and
well, you do shower.
And the confined spaces that we're on here together?
Confined spaces can be hard. Showering, I find that Kimberley the easiest. I wouldn't be able to do any of the East Coast, I don't reckon, because we have freshwater showers here. That's like one thing that keeps me sane. So the Kimberley for me is super easy. I didn't do any of the East Coast, so I can't really comment on that, but I think I would have struggled with being salty all the time and the rain and being wet. I struggle with condensation. We haven't had that much condensation, maybe like 4 days out of the last like 2 months that have been wet, and that is something that when you wake up and you're just like agitated. Other than that, it's been like quite easy.
Yeah, I feel like when I'm home, I'm like, even if I like pet the dog, I'm like, I've got to wash my hands. And then when I come on the boat, it's just all goes out the window. It's like I've got
you really have to let go of
everything.
I don't think the dirtiness on the boat is a problem. I think it's the stickiness that's a problem. It's not as if you're dirty.
Yeah, but like if you look at the hair in our food, the mold on the pillows. Jason scratched his back with a fork, and I was like, oh god, have to let that slide. But you know, that little you just have to let things slide.
I looked at you and went, that was pretty brutal, eh?
Yeah.
That was pretty bad.
The hair, because look at us, we all have long hair.
It's hard.
And you're on a small space like this, so the hair is something I'm keen to get away from.
Yeah, like in the fridge, it's just on every drink, and you gotta get it twisted off.
Yeah. Ellie's had some bad ones.
The hair just gets it.
Ellie had like, it was my hair, a full string in her wrap.
This trip, I don't know if it's looked rough on camera, but it's twice as rough as it looks. It's like, and the only reason we've been able to probably handle it so well is because we've done it for so long.
Yeah. It feels so good though, like in the mornings you're like, oh, it's gonna be day to day, and in the afternoon you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad actually.
We got one more thing we're just gonna run through. You guys don't have to be for this if you want, or you can. We're gonna run through the fuel. The cost of the trip. Alrighty, let's run through the cost of the trip, and we're just going to run through the fuel and food costs. I'm not going to go through all the little miscellaneous things because I don't think it really gives you a gauge on if you're planning a trip. Like, these things pop up and it's not really a good gauge, but we'll go through the fuel first and the food and then the total of the trip and how many kilometers we've done, how many hours are on the motor, so on and so on. Alright, here we go. Tweed Heads, 1,170. Harvey Bay, 1,023. 1770, 1,200. Mackay, 1,070. Townsville, 950. Cairns, 460. Port Douglas, 240. Cooktown, 950. Lockhart, 1,650. Bamaga, 900. Weipa, 1,350. Pomperol, 1,170. Corumba, 800. Mornington, 550. Groot Island, 1,660. Gove, Nullumboy, 1,040. Elko, 1,050. Maningrida, 885. Darwin, 1,560. Wadeye, 1,060. Berkeley, 850. Honeymoon, 850. Kimberley Coastal Camp at Wemmersley Bay, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, 1,675. Curie Bay, 4,250. Derby, 1,750. And Dogleg Creek, 2,800. For a total of $32,900 from Tweed Heads to Broome.
Which is about $8 cheaper than what I thought around 40 grand would be about, right?
Yeah. Roughly the fuel would have been, it's roughly $2.50 a litre when you divide it all in. If you divide the let's say 33,000 into $2.50.
About 12.
It's 13,200 litres that we put into the boat. And then if you
average it out at 30k an hour.
Average it out at 30k an hour, we did roughly 16 to 17,000 kilometres from Tweed Heads to Broome in driving, which is a lot more than what it would be taking a straight line. But obviously we've been driving around in circles.
And the motors, we've done 500 hours on the big motor and 150 on the little.
Yep.
650 hours.
And then the food on top, we just averaged that. It's roughly $400 a week, and you halve that into 6 months, 10 grand roughly. So the trip all up, let's just say $45,000 food, beer and fuel.
For 6 months.
For 6 months, which is roughly how much a week?
I thought around 1,500-1,600 bucks a week. I'm not sure.
Yeah, around 1,600 bucks a week to do the trip. And a lot of the time there's been 3 people on the boat, you know. I don't think that's really that expensive for a trip of a lifetime around the country. And that's how you go around Australia in a boat. And I hope you enjoyed it.
How you go from Tweed Heads to
Tweed Heads to Broome.
Yeah.
We'll be able to say that maybe in the future.
Yeah.
So we just want to say just like a thank you to everyone for watching and following along, being so supportive, loving, like everyone, just the enthusiasm and support that you guys have. You've actually helped us get through this trip, because it's been really challenging, and just you guys sort of willing us on and everything like that has been incredible. So thanks so much for everyone watching, for being a part of this whole journey with us and giving us advice along the way, and then also meeting up with people. Like a lot of the people we met up with was just through watching the channel. Like it's just been incredible how it's all worked out. And I can't highly recommend enough not going out and doing a trip like this, but just getting out there and having a crack and going and doing adventurous things across the country with your mates, with your family, by yourself, whatever you're doing. We live in a world right now where it is, you know, a lot of screen time and stuff like that. I think if you can just get out there and explore, and for your mental health, like there's a lot of mental health issues across the world now, and I think it's from so much screen time. And I think the more you can get outdoors and explore and do it yourself,
maybe create some screen time.
yeah. I'm contradicting it here when you're watching it, but these are educational videos. This isn't scrolling monotonously.
I'd like to say, I think my thanks, I mean, ultimately for this trip, it has layers, you know, like, I mean, I got my parents at home who are sitting and watching the videos each week and say, oh, we love the videos, we love what you're doing. That's a wonderful feeling. I really appreciate that. Then you've got, you know, when Ellie bought this boat, and we had Jeff and Sally, and they were so positive and such good people, and gave us really good confidence and ideas just to go to the Kimberleys for the first time, which has added to everything we've done. Then you go to this trip, and then before on the trip, you've got Mick, and you've got Ken for the flooring, and you've got Scott, that crew down there that helped us out, set the boat up and gave us ideas, and have been a help and have become friends. Thanks so much for that. Like, looking forward to the future, what can I say? Then you've got
before you go on with that, without what the crew that done it, Northeast Fabrication, their reef runner boats and Scott and that. Without the modifications they done to the boat, we come in there with an idea of what we wanted.
A fuel tank.
A fuel tank. But all the other things that they added on for this trip made it possible. Like all the little things, you know, even just the perspex and under the floor, these boats don't come with foam under the floor. All the foam under the boat. The way they put the bracket on for the little motor. I mean, look at the flooring. The flooring changed the look of the boat, and the map has become, you know, something that has become quite an iconic thing for this series. Is me jumping on the roof and talking about the map, like all the things like that.
And Scotty Wisher, I mean, one of their mates, you know, he comes and sets up the little motor, and then it's like, oh, we got to throw on the sounders, and he's a outboard mechanic, and he's also does all the electrical and everything. So those guys, they were positive, they were incredibly insightful, and it was something we stumbled upon that we never expected. So there's that. Then there's to all the people that when you turn up to the wharves and the places around Australia that come down and say, geez, we like what you're doing, keep it up, and give you that encouragement. There's obviously, you know who you are, thank you.
Yeah.
And then there's certain people, individual people along the trip. Now, you know who you are. I could run through them all. There's not a huge amount, but there are a few special people. I hope that both Jackson and I have been able to tell you at the time how thankful we are. Without that help, this trip would have been so much harder.
Yeah.
And not as enjoyable because they were such good people.
Yeah.
And made the experience so much better.
Yeah.
So a big thank you to those people. You know who you are. As I said, if I haven't said it in person, send me a message and tell me what you think of you, and then I'll tell you how sorry I was for not saying how thankful I was for what you did.
Yeah.
And then lastly is to my family.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughters and my wife. First of all, being so adventurous. They've done a lot of all these adventures. They're adventurous. We've lived this life for years. They've been a part of it. They love it. They're 100% supportive in every way. And without them, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
For me. Jackson's a different kettle of fish, but for me, you know, being able to do this and their support, you know, it's been
incredible.
Amazing. So that's a list of people that I think, you know, in sort of grading up.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll just finish it off with, I said Northeast Fabrication and Reef Runner Boats, how they done all the stuff with the boat. But Lawrence, they gave us the screens and the autopilot. They jumped on board to help us out with this. We had True Kit at the start of the series who gave us a tender. We'll be going back and getting that again. But who else do we have on board?
We got this the SAB winch. The day our winch broke down.
Yeah.
They said, "Oh, are you interested in getting a winch?" It's like, are you kidding?
Yeah, SAB winch. Who, I mean, that anchor and winch has been so good. So thanks so much to SAB winch for that as well.
Kings come on board and sent us some amazing stuff.
And the fridge and the battery setup since we've done that,
a game changer,
has been so much better.
So much better.
So much better than that. I know angles are unreal in that, but the Kings are definitely more designed for boats with the plastic and the weight of them.
And the layout.
Without a doubt.
And the layout. And that battery box. I mean, my God, how good is that thing?
Yeah. Every time we look at it, it's on bloody 100%. Those lithium batteries are incredible things. Who else did we have?
Is a small large fishing brand, Frog.
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. The biggest thank you for me to coming from it is Frogley's Offshore. They've supported me for 5 years now. They've looked after me so well, sent me all the most amazing products, supported me when no other companies were there, and it was the only company before the trip. I tried to get a few sponsors on board to help out with paying for the bit of fuel. And Frogley's Offshore is the only company that did chip in to help pay for this trip. So, you know, thanks heaps to them boys, and, you know, the ongoing support has been incredible. The rods are incredible, the gear's incredible, the entire trip, all the fish that we caught on was their rods, their lures, their knives, and so on and so on. So thanks so much to Frogley Offshore for just the incredible support, not only this year, but the previous years.
And also, to the way they approach it, it's not like, oh, can you know, say this is good, say that's good. It's just like, You know, if it's no good, let us know. If it's good, let us know. You know, we don't want you posting stuff. We don't, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like, we just love what you're doing. We'd like to be a part of it.
Yeah. It's been great. And then tomorrow morning, we're on the water again for the final stretch of the trip.
Actually, being here, why we're doing this now is it does feel like the trip's over.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know how to explain it, but it does.
Yeah.
We're still not there, but
Yeah.
in mind, we're there.
Yeah. Well, here it is, the last sunrise of the most incredible trip of our life, traveling from Tweed Heads all the way around and down and across and up all the way to where we are here today. But over the course of the rest of this episode, we're going to be getting to Broome. And I won't have to say attempting, hopefully we make it there today. And we'll have taken this boat from Tweed Heads to Broome. Over 6 months of just an absolute wild adventure and the best adventure of our life. Hopefully this is the start of something that will continue throughout my channel and my series, where we can go and do incredible adventures and show you parts of Australia to go and explore yourself. We're just waiting for Owen and the boys. They're coming over and we're going to be doing the last leg of the trip together into Broome. Holy moly, it feels weird to say it, and it feels weird to be ending the trip today, but it's been insane. And what a sunrise to finish her off. Sheer big country, and possibly next year we'll be doing that one, maybe that one. I don't know. And this is what the fridge looks like after 1 month and 1 week. 6 steaks left. So we've done pretty well with the gauge on how much meat we need.
Is that from Darwin, is it?
Yeah, it's from Darwin. That's the fridge. Pretty low on everything else. We've still got 6 steaks left, but 6 steaks left. It's a tongue twister.
And I'm about as keen to eat them as I am birdseed. Not real keen at all.
We keep getting stowaways. The other night when Miles was sleeping and one came in the cab and was like flying around the cab.
Holy pasta.
The final 140 kilometers.
Didn't think we
Sorry.
didn't think we were gonna get here at times. Actually,
So proud of you
Not-
guys.
didn't think we were gonna get here like quite often.
Wow, they
But
actually.
not so
did
much
it.
didn't think we were gonna get here. Couldn't envisage
Couldn't
getting here.
envision like the like.
Like, it's
Yes,
crazy
she
to
is.
think that we're on a boat from Tweed Heads to here.
What the hell?
You know, it's like, oh yeah,
That's crazy.
like we're now in Western Australia,
Yeah,
on the west coast, east to west.
we done it.
You've done it, boy. Done it, Finn.
Well, I hope you enjoyed.
Why did we do that? That's the big
Jackson,
question.
you have to do that thing.
Why
Do
did
it
we do
now.
that?
I do remember.
Do it
Well,
now.
I hope you enjoyed that series. You will have one more episode coming next weekend, which is going to be an absolute belter, a run through the whole trip, plus us getting actually out of the water. But yeah, thanks for following along. We're in Broome from Tweed Heads on the trip of a lifetime, and yeah, we just can't believe it.
We're not attempting to take this trail craft from Tweed Heads from east coast to west coast. We have taken this trail craft from the east coast to the west coast.
Yeah. Thanks heaps to everyone who believed in us and anyone who doubted us. We're here. The trail craft made it. Our bodies are good, except for Bobby's leg. We're all sweet.
Yeah.
So,
For those who believed in us, we wish you well.
Well, and
For those
who
that
don't,
didn't, can
go to hell.
Oh no! Let's go back.